Without a doubt, everyone's favourite show is Friends. And even if you're not a die-hard fan, you can appreciate the legacy of this show. Not only did it change the sitcom world for the better, but it also ran for 10 years with killer seasons. But did you know that your favourite scenes were most likely improvised by the cast on set? When it comes to comedy series, there must be an element of surprise to keep the cast and crew inspired and light-hearted. And that was exactly what our favourite Friends actors did. Hello everybody, and how you doing? Welcome back to Top Things. On today's video, I'm going to be talking about some of my favourite Friends scenes that were not planned, but were kept on the final product. Just because they're so funny and iconic. It is true that brilliance comes from unplanned moments. But first, I would like to hear your Friends' opinions. Who's your favourite Friend, and what's the best season? I gotta say, I like the first and second season, just because I like the classics. Let me know in the comments down below. Now, let's get into the video. The show must go on. Everyone in show business knows how hard it is to work with kids and animals. At the end of the day, they have their own agenda and do what they like. So it's essential that the cast knows how to react when something goes out of plan. David Schwimmer had to learn this fast so he could act with Marcel, his character's pet monkey, during season 1. It was so hard to control his scene partner that reportedly the actor hated working with him, even asked to cut scenes with the monkey. They had to figure out how to work around his attitude and rash movements, changing dialogues and placements to get a scene right. Even if it was hard to work with him, it was worth it. Let's not forget the hilarious "The Lion Sleeps Tonight" dance. The best thing Ross ever did was rescue Marcel, although he regretted his decision in the final seasons. Joey's broken hand. I don't know about you, but my favourite episode will always be the one where no one's ready. It's hilarious. The episode where Ross invites all of the friends for a fancy work dinner and asks them to be ready at a certain time, and in true Friends fashion, shenanigans ensue. The best part of the episode is the childlike feud Chandler and Joey have going on. All of that just to decide who gets to sit on a chair. At one point, the actor who played Joey, Matt LeBlanc, thought it'd be funny to throw himself to the chair from the corner of the room and made a big jump. Unfortunately, on the first try, he landed between the chair and a table, dislocating his shoulder. As a professional, he decided to keep filming with the injury, so production didn't delay. And in the next episode, the injury was part of a cold open gag in which Chandler discovered Joey jumping on his bed and landing on the floor. The rest of the episode, we can see Joey with a cast. Matt LeBlanc was very clumsy on set and made for a couple of physical comedy quips. Call for Bob. Another incident with Matt LeBlanc that landed big laughs with the audience was in the head of the episode, the one with 5 steaks and an eggplant. When a woman called the guy's apartment to find Bob and Chandler pretending to be him to go on a date with the lady. It's later revealed that the woman thought Chandler, or Bob, to be awkward and not satisfying in bed. Of course, the guys teased Chandler for it, then let it go. Until the end of the episode, where the woman decides to call again and ask for Bob. Only this time, the one who listens to the voice message is Joey. In Joey's excitement to the phone, he trips and almost falls. But this was really Matt LeBlanc's mistake. He actually did trip on his feet, and the audience laughed so much that the team left it in. Mistakes are always funny, and more if you play along. Messing up dialogue. In reality, when you're working for hours on end, your brain is sure to get foggy. Messing up lines is something very normal for actors. But it's truly special when you find a cast that's so in tune with each other that they can make a mistake look like a planned joke. This happens a lot in the set of Friends, but most especially with a scene that Matthew Perry screwed up. In a cold open, Chandler starts teasing Joey for a loud, coloured suit, but doesn't get it right, and says, "Give that blue blazer black," instead of black. And now it is the Friends' turn to make fun of him for not speaking right. This was all the actor's choice, not in the script, but it was so funny and in character that it stayed in the episode. It's better than what they initially planned, and it all came from a mistake. Matt Perry, the best comedian on set. Yes, it's true. Everyone on the cast were incredible comedians and great actors, but there's one that exudes more comedic energy than everyone: Matthew Perry. Chandler was really the best character, and a true friend. And most of the character's personality comes from the actor himself. Matt used to improv with all his castmates and create hilarious scenes with only his personality and some jokes. Like the iconic line he says to Joey. In a case of unexpected genius, the actor made up the line, "You have to stop the Q-tip when there's resistance," mocking Joey for being a little distracted and confused, and overall, just Joey. In the script, it was written for him to scoff and walk away, but what Matt came up with was so original, the whole audience couldn't stop laughing. And there's more examples of Matt being the best improviser on set, such as the iconic last words of the show. When asked by Rachel if they wanted to get coffee, the script indicated for Chandler just to say, "Sure." But Matthew couldn't help but inject a little bit of himself, even in the last episode, and added a "where?" Just a little joke to wrap up the best 90s show. Now, Matt might be the master of improvisation, but there's still a certain lady I have to talk about. Scene partners in crime. When you put together the funniest people in the room, it's bound to be chaos. In the case of the Friends production, those people definitely were Jennifer Aniston and Matthew Perry. Both of them used to bounce jokes off each other and try to outbest the other with smart one-liners. Jennifer was no stranger to making up lines as the show went on. She mostly transforms mistakes to incredible performances, one of Matthew's specialities. That's why their relationship on screen was so genuine. In a case of brilliance, an injury was turned into a joke. With a scene between Matt and Jen, they were fighting over Chandler's relationship with Rachel's boss, as she finds him in a very uncomfortable position. Chandler, being handcuffed to a file cabinet, pleads with Rachel to free him, but Rachel is not giving in. In an attempt to reason with her, Chandler hits his head with the cabinet. His and Aniston's reactions are genuine, since that bit was not planned, and the actors just went with it. They were doing everything to get a good laugh, and I appreciate it. The best cameo. Well, we know that this series has some of the best cameos. Through the seasons, celebrities like Brad Pitt, Susan Sarandon, Christina Applegate, Bruce Willis, Paul Rudd, and many more were guest stars of the show, and played some important parts for the main cast. But the best cameo by far has got to be the one that was not planned. This, of course, is the Billy Crystal and Robbie Williams cameo. Like I said, it was not planned. The pair were simply working in a studio next door, and the producers asked if they wanted to be in the show. Since this was the biggest show at the time, and let's be honest, still is, they of course said yes. What happened next was a masterclass of comedy biggest names doing their best. Since it was not planned, the producers asked them to improvise and create a story for the characters. Turns out Robbie took the lead, then interrupted Monica as she was telling a story, with a sad plot of a man who just found out his wife was cheating on him. Billy played up the part and confessed being the culprit of the affair, and created an explosion inside the Central Park Cafe. Their performance was incredible and left the cast stunned. Since the interaction was unplanned, they also had to improvise their reaction to the couple. Courtney Cox, or as we know her, Monica, added a last joke, stating that she completely forgot what she was saying. It is clear that Billy and Robin knocked it out of the park with their performance, and to this day, it's the best cameo of the series. The biggest plot twist. Turns out the biggest plot twist of the series came from an innocent mistake from David Schwimmer. In episodes prior to this change in plot, the actor, whilst filming, confused the name of his on-screen girlfriend and soon-to-be wife Emily to the one of his longtime friend and ex, Rachel. Seemingly, it was just a tiny mistake by a tired actor, and not a big deal. But just then the writer got the wonderful idea that turned into the season's biggest cliffhanger. The "I take thee, Rachel" line came from an actor's mistake. Truly, the best mistake in human history. But tell me, what do you think? If you haven't yet pressed the like button for all the Big Bang Theory shenanigans, also subscribe to my channel if you want more inside information to your favorite shows. Turn on that notifications bell so you'll be notified when a new video appears. And tell me in the comments below, what show do you want me to do next?